Hey y'all, hey. Today we are going to make the most juicy and tender whole roasted chicken that you have ever had in your life. When I tell you it's fire, woo! First thing first, we're going to start by prepping our veggies. We have some baby carrots here. If you have whole carrots, that works just as well. Just peel them and cut them in bite-sized pieces. Then we have 2 stalks of celery. Cut the ends off and we're going to cut them in about 1-inch slices like so. Once you get the veggies all cut up, you can put them in a bowl and just place it to the side. We are going to be using them. I'm going to show you just how in a moment. Go ahead and get half of an onion and you're going to cut this into big chunks as well. Cut the ends off of the onion and get the skin off, the outer layer. Then you're going to go ahead and cut the onion into big pieces like we're doing here. So what we're going to do with these veggies is use it as a bed for our whole chicken. We're going to place them right in the baking dish on the bottom, and then we are going to place the whole roasted chicken on top, and it kind of just lifts it up off of the dish. Go ahead and get a lemon, cut it down the middle, and put that to the side. For the seasonings, we have some seasoning salt, and this is the only salt that we will be using for this roasted chicken. Then we're going to get some garlic powder. The full recipe along with the seasonings, measurements, and instructions can be found in the link in my caption, so go check that out. We have some Italian seasoning, some black pepper. We went back with some onion powder and some smoked paprika as well. So here we have our seasonings. Next, you're going to take a whole stick of butter and cut it into pieces like we're doing here. They're about a 1/4 inch thick. Get this cut up and place it in a bowl. This butter is the key to making this chicken so juicy and so tender. Now let's prep this chicken. So when you buy a whole chicken at the grocery store, it usually comes with hearts and gizzards and goodness right in the cavity of the chicken. So that's what I'm showing you here. We are going to remove all of this. Some people like to fry them up and eat them. We went ahead and discarded them in this case. This is what they look like. So once you get those out, you're going to take your veggies that we prepped and place them in the bottom of the baking dish. I kind of separated the onion pieces here. You can definitely eat these. It is delicious after it bastes in that butter while it's cooking. Then you're going to go back and get your chicken that's been nice and cleaned, and we're going to kind of loosen up the skin on the chicken. Get your seasonings and you're going to mix them all up, and we're going to season this chicken very liberally. It may look like a lot of seasoning, but you have to remember we only added about a tablespoon of seasoning salt and everything else are spices and powders. So it is just very flavorful. Go ahead and get that seasoning in every nook and every cranny. We even lifted up the skin and put it under there. Be sure to flip that chicken over and you want to season the bottom of it because that is where the breast and the legs are. I'm a breast person when it comes to chicken. And when I tell you that this turns out so juicy and tender, we don't have any dry chicken breast over here, y'all. Take that butter that we cut up and place it underneath the skin like so. You're going to put about 3 or 4 pads on each side. Then you're going to place some butter right under the wings. I put some into the cavity of the chicken as well. Once this roasts in the oven, that butter gets all melty and turns into a delicious, delicious baste for your chicken. Put a couple pads of butter right on top of the chicken, and then we are going to grab those lemons that we cut up, and you're going to put the lemon right into the cavity of the chicken. This is another flavor profile to add to this juicy and tender chicken. Then you're going to grab some foil and just lightly tint it over your baking dish like so, and you're going to place it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 1 hour. After an hour, you're going to take it out and just baste it very lightly with a basting brush. If you don't have a basting brush, you can use a spoon. The point is to get all those juices back on top of the chicken so that it stays nice and juicy while we are cooking it. Once you get that butter all over the chicken, slathered nice and well, you are going to put the foil back on it and you're going to bake it for 1 more hour. If you have the roasting setting on your oven, you definitely want to turn it to the roasting setting and just roast the chicken. Baking it is just the same thing though. After that extra hour, you take it out and it is nice and golden brown and juicy, y'all. It is so delicious. And as you can see, the veggies got nice and tender underneath that chicken, and it helped just raise it up off of the bottom of the baking dish so that it could bake. The veggies make for a great side dish, so if you want to add potatoes to the bottom of the roasting pan, you can, or any of your other favorite veggies. So we're taking that butter from the bottom of the dish and just basting it all over the chicken just to make sure that it stays nice and juicy before we cut it up. Let the chicken cool down for a good 10 minutes before you cut into it so that the juices can settle. I just want to show you how tender it actually is. Look how easily this chicken wing comes right off. Cut it up and serve it to your guests. We added a little parsley over the top just for some razzle dazzle. It is absolutely the most juicy and tender chicken you will ever have. Tap the link in the description for the full recipe.